Hi, everybody, and welcome aboard to Local Matters, where living local never felt so good. You know, the Tony Award-winning musical Ain't Misbehaving is coming to Anniston. Kimberlite Productions is going to transport you back in time to that golden age of jazz when hot spots like the Cotton Club played host to the music of the 1930s Harlem, and where swing music, jazz, and stride piano infused the entire country with renewed energy. It's renewed energy that's going to be felt here too. You know why? Because if it's local, it matters.
Dance. Let me see you move.
Love never felt so good. Can't I die if it ever could? Not like you. Oh.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Local Matters. I'm Dottie Rimpsey. You know, I'm so excited to announce that the Tony Award-winning Ain't Misbehaving show that celebrates that timeless music of Thomas Fats Waller, who penned more than 400 songs during his career, it is coming to Anniston. Joining me to talk about that production is the production's director, Miss Kim Dobbs. Welcome aboard Local Matters.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
You know what? I didn't realize that Mr. Thomas Fats Waller had penned over 400 songs.
It's amazing.
I mean, he really is sort of an unsung hero.
I would totally agree, but we're going to sing him
Yeah.
here in Anniston.
When I think about one of his songs, that the only one that I really know best would be that stormy weather. That that
Right.
Lena Horne really made famous.
Yes. Oh, it's yes. That's one of so many, and this show is jam-packed
And-
with the genius of Fats Waller.
Fats Waller. Now, tell me, what inspired you, Kim, to want to bring a show of this type to Anniston?
Well, first of all, I've used his music over and over in various reviews
Okay.
over the years, but I just feel that I've always wanted to reach out to people who may not know theater. My passion is theater, and so in order to do that, I want to find material that will touch people, that will bring people together, and I want to have the world know about theater, and I want now for the world to know about Fats Waller again.
So, like we said, to have over 400 songs, and most people are probably not even aware of his name.
That's right.
Most people are
I've
not.
mentioned, as I'm marketing about town, I've mentioned, do you know Fats Waller? And some people, oh yes, I love Fats Waller. And especially the younger people have
I'm
no
surprised.
idea.
No, right, yeah,
No
yeah.
idea. And so that's another thing I like to do, is to educate people about the classics. And I consider Fats Waller
Yes.
a classic.
Those are classics. Those are classics. Now, you've been producing many different types of productions through the years.
Yes.
And tell me a little bit about, share with us some of the types of productions that you have produced.
Well, I had a company, the Other Choice Productions, based out of Atlanta, and we toured nationally for 17 years.
Wow.
And I brought the traditional musical that folks know about and want to see yet again.
Right.
But I've also done original works.
Okay.
Original works that have what might be considered unusual themes. And I've premiered some of those at the Spoleto Festival in Charleston.
I was gonna say, where is
over
that?
the year.
That's
It's in
in
Charleston,
Charleston.
South Carolina, yes. And I've had shows with different themes. I've done traditional comedies,
Yes.
traditional musicals, but I've also done these original works, one of which was the W.C. Handy Blues Review.
Okay.
And,
another great.
I worked with the playwright, who also has some Broadway credits, and I was with him in the creation of the work. He had it written, but I of course added my touches.
Of course, you got to do your own rendition.
That's right.
You know, even when we are, hopefully we're going to be all rushing out to get tickets to see Ain't Misbehavin'.
Yes.
That's going to be here in town, and we'll talk a little bit more about the date and times and that. But you know, having your own creation, I mean, you're gonna try to keep true to the actual play. But I'm sure you've added your own little touches in there.
Oh, well, yes, that's what makes it exciting for me
Yes.
to do. But I'm always honoring the playwright,
Okay.
because without the playwright, there
That's
would be
right.
no play.
That's right.
And we are telling the playwright's story.
Yes.
I worked with a playwright out of Atlanta, and I've done several of her works, one of which I will be doing here in the area in the future. But with the themes that need to be given to people, themes that are surprising, themes that teach you about loving no matter what,
Right.
and no matter who. And I've done 2 Samuel, A Higher Place in Heaven, Dreams of Martha Stewart.
Wow.
Those are some of the originals
Yes.
that I've done. And each of them has its own individual message.
Okay.
That is a message that isn't, well, at the time when I was doing it, these were messages that were sort of secret. And I attempted to bring them to light and to life.
Okay.
And we touring the country with subject matter that might not be appealing if you knew what the subject matter were to some people, but as they left the theater,
They knew.
they knew, and it was appealing.
And speaking of message, though, what is the message to Ain't Misbehavin'? For people, especially for young people, they may have heard that Ain't Misbehavin' is a great play, but what is the message?
Well, I think that the message is, well, first of all, it's historical.
Okay.
It takes place in the 30s
Yes.
in a Harlem nightclub.
In a Harlem nightclub. Have you ever gone to Harlem?
Well, actually, I lived in New York for many years, and I went to Harlem. I didn't explore Harlem.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. And that does make a difference. I'm glad you pointed that out. Just to say you went, it's sometimes can be not enough to say I know it because I explored it.
Right.
I lived it.
Right.
Yeah.
I did not live it, but I feel I am living it now as I am
Yes, because you
prepping this show. It's about the music.
It's about
You
the
know,
music.
that's really what Ain't Misbehavin' is about. It is about the music, and the music is so varied. My favorite song ever, I don't mean in this show, I don't mean Fats Waller, I mean my favorite song is Black and Blue.
Okay.
That is a Fats Waller song. Many people probably don't know it, but
right.
they ought to know it. And his musicality is also the theme of the show, because it is a musical review with numerous songs. Also, in this production, and I think in every production, the original production on Broadway, it's about the personalities of the performers as well as they
Wow.
interpret the music. And so we're not the Broadway cast. We are a professional cast.
Yes, and
the individuals with their own personalities, which are fabulous personalities.
All right.
And that's what we're going to share with our audience.
And so I hear my director in my ear. When we come back, I want to know exactly who's going to be in this show because
Alrighty.
we've got lots of local people, talented people. So when we come back, Kim is going to share with us who's going to be featured in Ain't Misbehavin' here in Anderson in just about a week or so. We'll be right back with more Local Matters. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Local Matters. I'm Dottie Rimpsey, where living local never felt so good. Good to have you come on back here with us. I am sitting here. I'm joined with Miss Kim Dobbs, and she is the director of the play that she is going to be bringing to Anniston in just about a week or so, Ain't Misbehaving.
Yes.
If you're just joining us, we've been talking about that entire play. We've been talking about Fats Waller and how he really is, in many respects, an unsung hero. This was a man that had over 400 songs.
Amazing.
And many of those songs we probably know, but we probably are not aware that they were written by Fats Waller.
Mm-hmm.
And you shared with us that this play is all about the feeling of Harlem and the music of Harlem. Tell us a little bit more about Fats Waller and the Ain't Misbehaving play.
Well, of course, he was a great pianist, and we have Jonathan Fonbaugh from the area representing him center stage.
Now, where is he from, Jonathan?
I found him here.
Here in Anniston.
He was recommended to me by Dr. Navala at Jack State, the head of jazz studies
Yes,
there.
Jacksonville State.
And I hadn't worked with Jonathan before, but he is an amazing pianist, and he's never really done theatrical before. And so I check with him daily to see how he's doing in this new format.
Yes,
and he's
along.
enjoying it. But we have, well over 30 songs in this show, so he is. He's diligently
I'm getting excited just
that.
hearing you say that you're going to have over 30 songs in this
Yes.
show. So people can expect to come and just be feeling riveted in their seats.
Oh, absolutely. And the audience does get to do a little conversing with
Yes.
the actors. There are a few times that the actors reach out to the audience to join in the song. And it's not hard. Anybody
Right.
can do
I
it.
love that type. I love doing that. It was that it's almost a callback type of
I
feeling.
consider it a dialogue.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then we can also, what type of costumes? I believe I have some images that I would love to have Mr. Aaron pull up for us. Are we going to see a lot of those types of costumes, where the types of clothing?
Yes,
people-
it's going to be of the era.
of the era. So we're talking about the 1920s, right?
30s,
The 30s.
20s and 30s.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
the 20s and the 30s.
Uh-huh.
So, and those colors were the clothing during that time was bright, big, bold.
Yes,
during those times.
we'll have some bright, big, bold going on for sure. We'll also have some classic black,
Okay.
and but with bling.
Okay.
Black with bling, and we're so excited. One of the performers said, my dress is in," and she sent me a picture like at 1 o'clock this morning.
And what was going on with her dress?
We had ordered it. We'd picked it out. We had
Yes.
ordered it, and it's got the bling, and it's got the style, and she was just walking around the house at 1 in the morning because she liked it so much.
Wow. So tell me, are you from the area, Kim?
Well, actually, I was born in Nebraska,
Okay.
but my mother was from Anniston. My father was from Nebraska.
Okay.
They met at Fort McClellan.
Yes, that was
and
back in the day.
Back in the day,
Yeah, when-
and so I was born in Nebraska. But at age 4, we moved back to my mother's hometown of Anniston.
Anniston,
And so I'm a graduate of Anniston High School.
Okay.
A graduate of Jacksonville State University.
Go Gamecock. Yep.
Yes, I
Yeah.
was in the Southerners.
You were in the Southerners. Okay, so
I
you-
was. I was president of the Mask and Wig Guild. At
Wow.
that time, there was no drama department. There were 7 hours offered in that area.
And that was it, huh?
That
Yeah,
was
well,
it.
We've come a long way since.
So
Yeah.
yes, oh yes, absolutely. But I was in all the shows. while I was there. That was my education more than my BS in secondary
Right,
education.
because you
it
just
was
loved it
about the
so.
theater and the music.
And so tell me, how long have you been working on this production? Because we're going to talk about, there are so many more locals that we're going to talk about. How long have you been working with the talent in
I've
this
been
show?
working with the talent about 6 weeks.
Okay. So really not that long, not really.
Oh, well, it's a long time from the world that I came from. I have been known to I did Once Upon a Mattress once in 6 days.
Wow.
12-hour days,
Yes.
6 days.
Yes.
The normal when I was a professional actress was 2 weeks.
Okay.
And if you were lucky, you got an extra 2 or 3 days in there.
Right.
But in a community situation, usually 6 weeks is about the time that I've used. In this particular show, I have people from Birmingham, Montgomery, Atlanta, and Anniston.
Wow.
So my challenge was juggling the rehearsal schedule.
Yes, yes.
So
Right.
that everyone could be in the same room at the same time.
Right. So you are the director of this show, but this is your company, Kimberlite Productions.
Yes.
How long have you had your own company?
It's been about a little over a year, and it's a professional theater company based here in my hometown.
Based here in Anniston.
Yes.
Right, so this is going to be a great debut for you to debut what you can do and what
Yes.
you can bring to a community like Anniston. This feeling of jazz and just this whole ambiance that for some people it's going to be probably something that they've not seen in a long, long time.
Yes. And for some, something that they've never seen.
Never seen, right? Never
Yes.
seen. I just can't wait. We've got to go to break now. I hear my director in my ear. When we come back, I want to talk about more. You mentioned one young man that's going to be featured in this play. But when we come back, I want us to learn about all of them. That it's going to be not only in front of the right there in front of the audience, but also behind the scenes. So we'll be right back with more Local Matters. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Local Matters. I'm Dottie Rimsey. Welcome back. It feels so good to be sitting here with Miss Kim Dobbs. She is the director of Ain't Misbehavin'.
Ain't Misbehavin'.
Misbehavin'. It's
Yes.
a great play, a play of the time period of the 1920s, the late 1920s and the 30s.
Yes.
And so she's going to bring her rendition of that. As you mentioned, though, it's not going to be too far from the original score, if
Oh
you will.
no, it's absolutely the original score. It's the interpretation
Yes.
of the score that may be different from any other. I think all productions are different.
Yeah, of course they are.
Yes.
And I wanted to talk about some of the locals that are going to be featured, because you mentioned you've now been able to get people from Montgomery, Birmingham, Atlanta, and of course Anniston to really premiere here. So let's start off with the very first person here on the far right, Miss Jean Tafari Ellison. She was just here. She was just here in the studio earlier today. I got a chance to talk with her, and so help us to understand Jean's role in this play.
Well, Jean, has started that wonderful company, the Music Box, to
Yes.
educate children about singing and playing instruments. But she is what I consider a professional, and she is. Well, all three of the female characters, they have sort of a diva competition going on.
Well, that's
the same
quite,
time.
yeah, that
Yeah.
can be quite common anytime you're dealing with
Right.
Hollywood drama, New York, the stage. Yes, yes.
And Jean's very talented. She's a great singer, first of all, but she's also funny, and she is exuberant.
Yes.
Her energy
Yes.
reaches to Atlanta easily
Yes.
from here.
Yes. So we're going to see Jean, of course, and the other two ladies that you mentioned that almost have this competition-ready diva going for them. These two ladies are from where?
Well, Erinika Bonds is from Anniston.
Erinika
well,
Bonds.
she's the area. I first found her when I directed The Miracle Worker last year, and I said, this woman has talent. And what's unusual right now is that she said, this is the first time I've ever been cast in a comic part. And I said, I mean, she's hysterically funny, goofy, is what I would say, plus sings and dances.
Okay.
And so I'm really enjoying exploring that part of her that she's never given to the audience before.
Okay.
She's more of a dramatic actress.
Yes,
And
yes.
but she is very funny.
And that's Eranika Bonds.
Eranika Bonds, she's from this area.
Okay. And the other young lady?
All right, that is Ms. Kathleen Bertrand, song stylist. I worked with her first back in the 80s in Atlanta, and then I did a corporate gig in Acapulco, and I took her in the company there.
Wow,
And
Acapulco.
she came over to see my production of Boomers. She drove over from Atlanta to see that. And she said, this isn't very far drive. And I said,
No, it
oh, it isn't.
No, it isn't.
And so I called her to see if she was available. She has done the Montreux Jazz Festival in Switzerland several years. She was just featured in the Atlanta Jazz Festival a couple of weeks ago. She has a film company, Bronze Lens, and she's an amazing singer with a great personality, and I'm anxious for the local area to get to know her.
Right. And then last but not least, we have two men here that are going to be
Yes.
center stage, if you will, and talk to me about where they are from.
Okay, well, Michael McDonald. This is Michael.
Michael, the one with the, looks like a Sam Cooke hairstyle.
I found Michael through Gene. I
Okay.
didn't know him before. He lives in Montgomery.
Okay.
I believe he's a graduate of Jacksonville State.
Okay.
And he's a singer and a dancer. He has worked with the Alabama Shakespeare Festival, and he has worked with the Oregon Shakespeare Festival. And he gigs with bands as well.
Well,
So that's my Montgomery guy.
that's your Montgomery. And then last but not least,
This is Ricky Powell, with whom I worked in 1970 at Town and Gown Theater in
you've
Birmingham.
been in this a long time.
I
too.
have.
You have. You have.
And we both moved to New York, and we both studied with the same teacher, Helen Gallagher.
Okay.
And as a matter of fact, when I was in New York last month, month before last, I met with my teacher, and I said, I'm doing Ain't Misbehaving, and she said, you need to call up that Ricky guy from Birmingham. He can sing. That's how she talks. and so I found him on Facebook, and let me just tell you a little bit about him. Broadway credits.
Broadway
credits.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, I think he's in negotiation now for another Broadway show. He did The Wiz on Broadway, and he did Louis, the tribute to Louis Armstrong.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, the day it opened, he was in the show. The producer called him and said they couldn't find the person playing Louis. Could Ricky step in on opening night on Broadway?
And so, okay.
And he did.
And he did it. Sometimes it happens like that. You got to be ready.
You got to be ready.
You got to be ready. You've really assembled a fantastic group of people. Talented group.
Stellar cast.
I just can't wait. Okay, so let me bring up the full screen, guys, because I want now to really take a look at the dates, times, the cost of this event. I'm really hoping people are going to come out. I can't wait to see it. I want to go and dance and have a good time and see those costumes and feel that music, because this is the type of music that you don't see and hear every day. And as you mentioned, some people have never, especially young people, have never experienced what it means to feel a Broadway play, if you will. It's going to be at the Buckner Event Plaza. July the 20th through the 23rd from 7:30 p.m. That's Thursday through Saturday. And then that Sunday is the matinee, 3:30.
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. I'm
3
sorry.
o'clock,
I'm glad we
yes.
corrected that. 3 o'clock.
Oh, that's correct. That's incorrect.
Yeah,
Yes.
right, well, we corrected it now, right, 3
Okay.
o'clock.
Yes.
And then we've got those tickets for $25 for adults and $10 for children. Now, if you're 15 and over, you'll have to do the $25.
Right. But we also offer group sales with
Okay.
a discount, 20% discount of groups of 10 or more.
Oh, good. Well, let me get that number again. I wanted to have that number. If we could bring the full screen back up, I want to see if that did we include the phone number where people can call the box office there and talk 256-294-6825 to talk with
Yes.
people about getting tickets. It's not too late. It's not too late.
No, but you need to reserve because we could have, it's a 250 seat theater.
Yes.
And first come, first serve. So
Right.
it's best to go ahead and get your ticket through the box office.
Right. I can't wait to experience this. This is going to be a fantastic event, and we hope that you will. We hope that you are going to come out and join us and see talent, local talent at its best. So we look forward to seeing you there. You know why? Because if it's local, it matters. We'll see you back here next week. Good night, everybody.